Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills and flowing rivers in the heart of Africa, there lived a young boy named Adisa. His village was simple but beautiful, with round mud huts topped with thatched roofs that glowed golden in the evening sun. The villagers worked hard, tending to their crops and animals, sharing what little they had with one another, and living in harmony with the land. Adisa lived with his grandmother, Nana Asi, who was known throughout the village for her wisdom and her stories. Every evening, children would gather around her as she sat under the mango tree, listening eagerly as she shared tales of their ancestors, of brave warriors, clever animals, and the spirits that watched over their land. "Remember, little ones," Nana Asi would often say, "in our tradition, everything has value beyond what you can see with your eyes. The sun gives us light, the rain gives us water, and even your shadow is a gift that shows you belong to this world." But despite his grandmother's teachings, Adisa was not satisfied with his life. While other children found joy in simple games and helping their families, Adisa would gaze longingly at the colourful wares that travelling merchants brought to their village. He dreamed of owning beautiful clothes, shiny trinkets, and sweet treats that his family could not afford. "Why must we live so simply?" Adisa would complain to his grandmother. "I wish I had fine things like the merchants who visit our village." Nana Isi would smile patiently and reply, "Wealth is not measured by what you own, my child, but by the love in your heart and the wisdom in your mind. Our people have always valued community over possessions." But Adisa's heart was restless, and he did not heed his grandmother's words. One day, as the sun beat down on the village, a strange merchant arrived. Unlike the usual traders who came with bright fabrics and practical tools, this merchant carried mysterious items in a black wooden cart drawn by no animal. The cart moved on its own, gliding silently through the dusty village paths. The merchant himself was tall and thin, dressed in a cloak despite the heat, with eyes that seemed to change colour as he turned his head. While most villagers kept their distance, Adisa was drawn to the unusual merchant. He watched as the man set up his stall at the edge of the village, laying out curious objects that Adisa had never seen before. "Come closer, young one," the merchant called in a voice that sounded like rustling leaves. "I see you admiring my wares. Perhaps you wish to make a trade?" Cautiously, Adisa approached the stall. "I have nothing to trade," he admitted, looking down at his worn sandals. "My family is not rich." The merchant's smile widened, revealing teeth that gleamed like polished stones. "Oh, but everyone has something of value," he said, bending down to look directly into Adisa's eyes. "What about that fine shadow that follows you everywhere?" Adisa laughed, thinking the merchant was joking. "My shadow? What use is a shadow to anyone?" "Shadows hold more power than you know," the merchant replied, his voice dropping to a whisper. "They are the marks we leave on the world, proof that we exist under the sun. I collect them, you see, and in return, I can offer you wealth beyond your imagination." Adisa looked at his shadow stretched out beside him on the ground. It seemed such a small thing to give away, just a dark shape that followed him around. What harm could come from trading something so ordinary? "What would you give me for it?" Adisa asked, his curiosity getting the better of him. The merchant reached into his cloak and pulled out a small leather pouch. "This bag will never empty," he explained. "Each morning you will find 5 gold coins inside, more wealth than your village sees in a year. all for a shadow you never think about anyway. Adisa's eyes widened. With such a bag, he could buy anything he wanted: beautiful clothes, sweet treats, toys and gifts for his grandmother. He could help his whole village. "How do you take my shadow?" Adisa asked hesitantly. "Simple," the merchant replied. "Just stand still as the sun sets when your shadow is longest, and say, 'I freely give what follows me.' Then hand me your left sandal, and our deal will be complete." Adisa thought about his grandmother's warnings, but the temptation was too great. "I'll do it," he said. The merchant's eyes gleamed. "Excellent. Return here at sunset, and your life will change forever." As the day wore on, Adisa became increasingly excited about the wealth that would soon be his. He imagined all the things he would buy and how everyone would admire him. He did not tell Nana Isi about his plan, knowing she would disapprove. When the sun began to sink toward the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and red, Adisa slipped away from his home and hurried to the edge of the village where the merchant waited. "You have chosen wisely," the merchant said as Adisa approached. "Now, stand here where the last rays of sun will catch you, and say the words." Adisa took a deep breath, watching as his shadow stretched long across the ground. "I freely give what follows me," he declared, then removed his left sandal and handed it to the merchant. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then Adisa felt a strange tugging sensation, as if something was being peeled away from his feet. He looked down and gasped. His shadow was separating from him, gathering itself like cloth being pulled by invisible hands. It flowed toward the merchant, who caught it in a glass bottle that glowed with an eerie light. "The deal is done," the merchant said, handing Adisa the leather pouch. "Remember, 5 gold coins each morning. Spend them wisely or foolishly. It matters not to me." As the last light of day faded, the merchant packed his strange wares and departed, his cart moving silently away until it vanished into the gathering darkness. Adisa stood alone, clutching the leather pouch, feeling strangely lighter yet somehow incomplete. At first, Adisa didn't notice anything unusual. He hurried home, hiding the pouch under his sleeping mat. The next morning, just as the merchant had promised, 5 gleaming gold coins lay inside the pouch. Adisa was overjoyed. He had never held even 1 gold coin before, and now he had 5. That day, Adisa went to the village market and bought a beautiful woven shirt, decorated with patterns that told stories of great hunts and celebrations. He bought sweet honey cakes and shared them with his friends. He felt important and special as everyone admired his new possessions. "Where did you get such fine things?" Nana Isi asked when he returned home. "A traveller gave me a gift," Adisa lied, not meeting his grandmother's eyes, "for helping him find his way." Nana Isi studied her grandson carefully but said nothing more. The next day, Adisa found 5 more gold coins in the pouch, and the next day, 5 more. He bought more clothes, more sweets, and toys that the other children envied. Soon he became known as the richest boy in the village, though no one understood how he had come by such wealth. But as the days passed, Adisa began to notice something strange. People in the village started to act differently around him. At first, they would greet him warmly, admiring his new possessions, but their smiles seemed forced. Children who once played with him now whispered when he passed. Adults would fall silent when he approached and watch him with wary eyes. "What's wrong with everyone?" Adisa asked his friend Kofi, who had begun keeping his distance.